Okay, so Russo has a neighborhood dog that they're wanting to have them meet. Russo can be a little intense. I think this neighborhood dog is pretty frisky too. So, should be interesting. No. I will say this, just kind of a disclaimer when it comes to Russo and when it comes to a lot of adolescent dogs. When they play with other dogs, when they're around other dogs a lot, it actually makes them much more difficult to handle because they stay, see, they stay in a more excited state of mind for longer periods of time. So that's why I'm not a fan of daycare for really driven dogs every single day, even though I know it wears them out, because it just keeps them in this state of mind for a long time. After play sessions with other dogs, with a toy, an off-leash hike, or working on recalls, that fun and freedom should always be balanced with a few hours of duration place command. Okay, so doggies go on a walk together. That's first and foremost, structured walk. Then you're going to put Russo on his martingale. You're going to take his, no, you're going to take his prong collar off. Down. Down. So actually I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, so prong collar's off. So you want to see if the other dog can handle Russo. And we'll see. Looks like Dusty's kind of in a playful mood. No, place. Break. So you're going to hold the leash up, okay? Dusty, come here, bud. And you're going to try to keep it loose. And you're going to hold it up. You're going to hold it up like this. And try to keep it loose and just let him act naturally and see what the other dog's response is. If the other dog isn't liking it, I'll show you what to do in a second because I'm sure Dusty will get tired of this because he no. He tends to get tired of Russo after just a few minutes. Not gonna lie. Dogs, especially dogs that don't live together, should not be allowed to jump and hold on or hump another dog ever. Dusty's like, I am not a puppy. Now, if there's a few minutes of this and you feel confident, you just drop the leash, but still leave the leash on Russo. It's important. Let him drag around the leash. Now, if they really start running, stuff like that, get tangled up, but if they're really comfortable, I don't mind if you take the leash off because I think Russo's really reliable with the e-collar. However, I really just want to make sure the other dog feels comfortable. So when you are sure that the other dog is like, Russo's awesome, then you can drop the leash or just take the leash off. So there's a few things the other dog might do to get tired of Russo's biting or whatever it is. One is get snappy. That's what Dusty will do. Or come over to his mom, which is also what Dusty will do. Dusty will have his little ears back and he'll come over and look at me like, please help me, okay? So that's another way. And then another way is if they look nervous. If the other dog looks nervous at all, overwhelmed by Russo, that could amp Russo up. And you want to intervene, advocate for that other dog immediately. And how you would do that is I would just come over, grab the end of the leash. Russo, let's go. Come on, let's go. Russo, let's go. Place. Have an anchor wherever you are. Dusty, no, back. Russo, place. By an anchor, I mean place command because that is an anchor. And I just use the leash. You can cue an e-collar. I would start at like 10 and just tap. Russo, come. Tap. Russo, come. Break. Break. Yay. Now, if they're playing and you wanna take the leash off rather than have him drag the leash, if you have like a really big space where they could do a lot of running, then you might want to take the leash off. You just get in there. Hey, wait. Break. Okay. Take it off. Or you can do the same thing. You can grab the end of the leash, call him to you, put him in place, take it off. But now I'm just gonna show e-collar if Dusty gets tired of him, which I know he will at some point. Also, this is just a side note. Sometimes Dusty will do this. If Dusty feels like I'm not advocating for him, he'll get snappy And it's really, for Dusty, it's less about not liking Russo, because clearly he likes Russo. It's more about Russo not giving him a break, just to breathe for a second, you know? And that's very typical for Russo's age. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is typical. So it doesn't hurt if the other dog just seems to be a little overwhelmed, like still having fun, but a little overwhelmed. Like Dusty gets, Dusty's like, I like you, but I just want a breather. Is just, I'm at a, go to a 10. Russo, come. No, Russo, come. Place. Down. Dusty, get back. This will not work if the other dog is still trying to play with your dog as you recall him away. For a young dog still learning, that isn't really fair if the other dog is jumping on him while you try to get him to lay down or go to place. So in the early stages of training your dog, this is more useful if the other dog is getting overwhelmed or the play is getting too intense, and then the other owner needs to grab their dog as well and let the dog sit and hang out a bit and then give him time to play again. Let him chill. And then if he's dragging around a leash, it actually helps. It'll help Russo because you can call him back to you. Dusty, come here, bud. Break. Okay. I just want to find a moment. I'm gonna go to a 10. It'll probably need to be much higher for that. Yeah, Dusty's getting tired. See that? He just doesn't give him a second. Russo, come. Good boy. No, place. Down. Now let me be really, what are you doing? Let me be really clear. I was at a 13 the second time I tapped. But here's the thing, Russo and Dusty already have an understanding. I've been as high as a 30, I think even a 40 with my little dog Happy to call him off. So he knows, I've already gone higher with him. He's already ignored me, trying to cue him off lower, and I've corrected him for it and said no and repeated come and had him go to place. And he's like, yep, never mind, go to place. That's why I'm able to cue him off lower. That is not going to happen with a brand new dog. You might be real surprised when you have an adolescent dog driven like Russo. When you get frustrated, he won't listen to you. So you just got to get through to him. But you can't nag him. You can't go from a 10 to a 15 to a 20 to a 25. I mean, you got to go to like, you know, a 10 to a 25. You've got to do a jump when it comes to stuff like this and have him on leash. And again, this is just to give the other dog a breather if needed. Now, if they're both very much on the same page, like him and Gertie, they could play for a much longer period of time before I needed to give Gertie a breather, because Gertie's, you know, close to the same age and the same temperament. Break it, slobber all over him. You see, now he's avoiding. You guys see that? See, he's just like, he's not into it anymore. So, I mean, look at that demeanor. So if you see that, Russo, come. Oh, hi, Dusty, you too. Russo, come. I know, I want more water. Place. No. Russo, come. So I went up to a 20. Place. Down. Now, I know you saw that little moment from Dusty, but I'm not going to just let him go. And it makes it much easier if the other dog will settle down too. If the other, see, Dusty's pretty much ignoring him for the most part. If the other dog is like bugging Russo to play and you're trying to put him in place, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. So don't give him a break. If you call Russo to you and the other dog is still jumping on Russo and playing and you're trying to get him to lay down, that's not gonna work. This only works if the other dog is just kind of needs a break and is ignoring Russo and not going over to him anymore. That's the only time, you know, that this works. Otherwise, it's not really fair to him, and it's confusing. Now, the only time I use NO is if I want to make a dog off limits, like my little dog Happy. Or if he's just really not listening to come. See, that's a little bit of attitude from Dusty. No. Russo, come. Place. Down. So wanted to go, I was at a 19. I wanted to go higher on that one, do a quick tap with no to kind of get through to Russo. And then I scrolled down to a 10 to recall him off. So that just kind of gives you a scenario there. By saying no and then recalling Russo from Dusty's subtle warnings, I'm reinforcing basic dog social behavior. Puppies and dogs often need help understanding that avoidance or certain levels of intensity mean settle down, especially with a dog like Dusty that doesn't usually overassert himself. He's kind of pitiful, so I don't want him to get taken advantage of, or the next dog to get taken advantage of. He listens to the e-collar really well when playing with other dogs, which is really nice. But again, I would definitely have him dragging around a leash just for backup guidance, because this is going to be a new situation for him with the neighbor dog. And the neighbor dog might be just as wild. I don't know. We'll see.